Red hot comic book movie news. Defenders of the Earth. Defenders. The Weekly Planet. The Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday, and with me, as always, my co-host, Delicious Kombucha. Welcome, Kombucha, to the show. Thanks for having me. Don't drink me. Well, I'm going to. It's over for you. Mason's in too.
What if I wasn't here? I couldn't make it, and you're making the best of a bad situation.
Anyway, it's late.
It
the
is
late
late.
one, obviously.
Yeah.
People know that.
We try to make them normal when they're late. We're like, all right, this is just going to be the same. But there's something in the air.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. It's dark. No one can see us.
No one can see us. That's right. We recorded the pitch black. Mason, big week this week.
Big week.
Creed 3.
Creed 3.
Did you find it incredible? Hold your thoughts. We'll talk
right.
about it later.
Okay.
There will be time codes if people want to jump to that. But we're also going to talk about who's playing Spider-Woman in the new Madam Webb movie, potentially.
And which Spider-Man, potentially?
Which Spider-Man? Spider-Woman or Spider-Person? Whatever. Do you mean there's another Spider-Man in there? Is that what you're saying?
No, but there is another Spider-Man casting.
Oh, for Indian Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. We can talk about that.
Let's talk about that, maybe.
We're going to talk about the new cast of the upcoming Ninja Turtles movie, Mason.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about some DC stuff, including the future of Shazam. Is that happening, maybe, or maybe not? Maybe we will be getting a David Ayer Suicide Squad cut, potentially.
What?
Maybe.
What?
Casting for the Hellboy reboot, second reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And then trailers ahoy for The Haunted Mansion and Peter and Wendy. Two grim retellings of
That's
kind of
right.
something or whatever, aren't they? Aren't they, Mason?
Well, isn't the sort of the I was reading recently, isn't the sort of the background for those is perhaps that because copyright on those characters is sort of a lot of the Disney stuff.
Yeah.
This is a great start for me on the podcast.
I agree,
by the
it's
way.
really good.
A lot of the Disney stuff, it's just public domain characters or characters that will soon be in the public domain.
Sure, yeah.
So it's just like flood the market with
And
our version.
It's also something to do with I know with Peter Pan, they can do their version of it or whatever. Like they can't, but no one else can do that exact situation. I think I don't know if that applies to Peter Pan, but it applies to Jungle Book and some other stuff, Little Mermaid and whatever else. All great
Big
remakes.
Bad Beetleborgs.
Oh, Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Disney can only do their version of the Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Well, that's
You
the
know Hans Christian Andersen's Big Bad Beetleborgs? That classic tale?
Yeah. At the end, everyone gets eaten or whatever
Yeah.
by a bear or something.
Sure.
That's how those
Yep.
things always end. Yeah.
And we learn a valuable lesson.
Anyway, they shouldn't have gone outside. They
Yeah.
got eaten. All the Beetleborgs got eaten. Mason, this is via Jeff Snyder's The Hot Mic podcast.
Oh, yes.
He'd be saying that Sydney Sweeney, of course, we know from Euphoria and also
White Lotus
and various other
That's it.
things. Other things probably. She's going to be
That birthday celebration she had, and people were like, are they her relatives? What the hell?
Hey man,
What is the flag on that guy's shirt? What is it saying?
everybody. Look, I have relatives like that, so I'm not going to be throwing stones because you catch me a photo with somebody like that. Those photos exist. They're out there, Mason.
Oh,
I
no.
want to get ahead of it.
All right. That's right. Your family are Big Bad Beetleborgs.
I'm saying people aren't defined by their family necessarily, Mason. This is just a defense of myself.
They are defined by which Spider-Woman they may or may not be
Yes.
in a movie.
So she's going to apparently be a Spider-Woman, and it's unknown which one at this point, but apparently probably Julia Carpenter.
Yes.
Which one's that?
Julia Carpenter is the one that looks like Black Suit Spider-Man because her costume came first and then they ripped it off for Black Suit Spider-Man. So it's the black and white costume. She's got like sort of a flowing red hair situation. And Jessica Drew is the British one. That's right, another surprise British Marvel character.
Yuck.
Secretly British. She's the one that has the red and yellow costume and black hair. The red and yellow costume, of course, they ripped off for Spider-Man's Iron Spider suit.
Yeah. And she's the one who... She's not magic. What is she? She's got different spider powers or something, doesn't she?
Oh, boy.
One of them's got different Spider-Man powers.
Julia Carpenter, so the one Sydney Sweeney presumably is playing, I think she has psychic web powers.
Okay, right.
She throws out like a...
It's a psychic blast, is it?
Yeah, of sorts, yes. I
That's
think so.
cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is cool.
I think so.
So, well, speaking of, we may as well, while we're doing Across the Spider-Verse, what was the casting that you be hearing this week, Mason?
I don't have it here, but let's grab it.
I believe his name is Karan Soni, and he plays a cab driver
In the Deadpool movies, that's right.
Movies. And he's also Jerry Seinfeld in the Auntie Donna Big Ol' House of Fun series. I meant to ask them, but I will next time I see them. Because I know they reached out to a lot of big names. I wonder if they wrote that for Jerry Seinfeld initially. But anyway, that's great. It's a really funny show and moment. But so yeah, that's cool. I like that a lot. I like that casting. We're going to be seeing all sorts of spider peeps in that movie, bouncing and swinging about, Mason. Don't you agree?
Yes.
He agrees, everybody.
But more about this Spider-Woman thing.
Sure.
Is there anything else?
What do you mean?
Plot villains.
Adam Scott's in it.
Oh, I don't mind that.
I think he's an Uncle Ben, maybe.
Okay, great.
Dakota Fanning's in it.
Hi, I'm an Uncle Ben.
Which one? I don't know.
I don't know. Do you need me to die to teach you a lesson about power and responsibility, or because I got the afternoon free? If you don't mind.
I'm just looking at the cast here, and nobody's there. Oh no, he is Ben Parker. Okay, Dakota Johnson is Madam Webb.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever that even means now, because
yeah,
she's going to be sitting in a big spider chair.
I hope she's sitting in a big spider chair.
I don't think she is, because I think there's photos on set and she's like driving an ambulance or something. She's like a paramedic.
Right.
Emma Roberts is in it.
She's looking at a big spider chair and she's going, tut, 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 not on my watch.
I would never. Yeah, anyway.
But that's probably just that's a teaser for the sequel.
I agree. Good cast, though, looking at this cast. But, it's also a Sony Spider-Man spin-off, so, take that as you will. But no, the animated one apparently is looking good as well.
That's great.
Across the Spider-Verse. Speaking of animation, Mason.
Go on.
They announced that there will be a trailer earlier in the week for this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Yes.
And they announced the cast. Now, of the 4 Ninja Turtle characters, I'm not. This is a young man's game. These people.
These are all young fellas.
Yeah, that's right. Some of them I recognize from things, and some of them I do not. But it's Mika Abbey, Shamon Brown Jr., Nicholas Cantu, and Bradley Noon.
Well, I don't recognize any of those names.
That's right.
But once they're in 4 to 5 movies, I'll be like, by the 5th movie, I'll be like, hey, was that guy in one of those other movies?
I saw a movie.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a movie.
I've seen a movie that time. Okay, Grandpa. Off you go. But for the oldies.
Yeah, here we go.
Seth Rogen is Bebop.
Good casting.
John Cena is Rocksteady.
Good casting.
Paul Rudd is Mondo Gecko.
I love Mondo Gecko.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's cool.
And Giancarlo Esposito is Baxter Stockman.
So there's also there's a Baxter Stockman.
Go on.
And there's also a character called Superfly, who's played by Ice Cube, who's a different fly-based character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I suspect this Baxter Stockman is more akin to the one from the original comic books. He's the guy that builds the Mousers, the mouse hunting robots, but he doesn't turn into a fly man.
Okay.
So I suspect
he might be that one. But I think they've both got Fly motifs around there.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look.
I don't know. But Post Malone is Ray Fillet.
Okay, sure.
So that's good.
Who's Man Ray? Is Ray Fillet?
Is there a Man? I think, is there a Man
Ray? That's Ray Fillet. Maybe Ray Fillet is Man Ray.
Yeah, you might be right.
Okay. Who's the Crocodile Man?
Oh, that's fucking, what's her name? She's Australian. Rose Byrne.
Oh.
Is Leatherhead.
I was going to say as a joke, Rose Byrne.
Well, no, it's real.
Wow.
I know that's upset you because I know you want, is there going to be any guarantees?
Yes.
But, whatever.
Yeah, she's a professional. Maybe she'll give us what we want.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Do you think with Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd, do you think we're going to get a replay of Here's How I Know You're Gay from
Yes, I do think that, yeah.
I think so,
I think it's about time they brought it back.
I think bring back that little routine, I think. I think it's probably aged really well.
Yeah. You know what? The worst thing about that scene is they're using different controllers.
Yeah.
One's on a Dreamcast controller, one's on a Nintendo 64. It's nonsense, Mason.
Maybe they have 2 televisions. They're playing 2 separate games.
Well, that's fine then.
That's just bros being bros in the same room, you know?
It is bros being bros. Mm-hmm. On top of that, so this is directed by Jeff Rowe, who's the director of The Mitchells versus the Machine, which is a great movie, animated movie if you've ever seen it.
I haven't.
I think it went straight to Netflix.
Terrific.
Really good, though. Anyway, as I mentioned before, I think there's something to like about every incarnation, and my son has been working through. He's now back on the 2012 series, which is a lot of fun. There's just a series where it's just set entirely in space.
Oh,
like
okay.
season 4, it's just like, oh, this one's in space.
Do they meet the alien rhinoceros?
Yes, they do.
Ah,
The
right.
Triceratons. Yes,
Yeah,
they do,
okay.
Mason.
Yeah.
There's a one where they travel to ancient Japan, or like 20 years earlier.
Nice.
Not ancient Japan. Slightly
Or the
earlier in
80s.
Japan. Yeah, maybe in the early 90s.
Is this the 80s? Oh my god. Yuck.
But apparently in
This
this
technology is closer to our technology. I don't like it.
apparently in this movie, and the new one, I really like Rise as well. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that was good, and I like the movie as well. But this new one, apparently they're going to be in high school. Like they're just going to be just put them in high school and be
Okay.
like they're normal teens and whatever. So
Okay.
we'll see.
All right.
Why won't we?
So we're not, but they're not going to do. They are normal kids who are turned into turtles.
No, I think they're just like we'll just send some turtles to school. Oh, and Jackie Chan is Splinter. We didn't mention that.
There you go.
But that
All right.
Hannibal Buress, did you mention that? Genghis Frog. Cool.
They're bringing they're bringing a lot of deep cuts here. It's pretty
Exactly.
good.
Now, Mason,
Have they changed the rules again regarding what mutagen does?
depends on the series.
Does depend on the
You
series,
can be
doesn't it?
double mutated.
Yeah.
You can be triple mutated. You can be not mutated. You can be regular.
Just a regular
Fine
man,
too,
or just
yeah.
a regular animal?
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think they should lean into in Ninja Turtles? Or maybe they have
You're a
in an
chicken.
incarnation.
You're a chicken on a farm. You're being led into like a industrial thresher. You're going to be turned into a roast chicken at the supermarket. You're like, oh boy, I sure hope I get mutagen into a chicken super warrior real soon. That'll be great.
Getting close.
Oh boy.
This is what I think, and maybe what I'm about to say might be in an incarnation, but there's no reason, and sometimes they're not because they look different, that they're actually any of the turtles are blood related.
Sure.
They could just be 4 different turtles, and often they're different colors and sizes anyway or whatever. And I think that would be interesting to lean into the idea of a family that they're not even related, seeing as their dad is a rat anyway.
Sure, yeah.
And I think, there
we
could
can all relate.
Exactly.
Many of us have dads who are rats.
I got a photo of it. I don't know what to tell you about it. But yeah, I don't know. You could have a scene where it's like, we're not even real brothers, but they are real brothers, Mason.
In a way, they are, aren't they?
That's right, because it's more about how many people you can beat up together.
And you're just going to give that scene away for free.
Yeah.
Should we edit that out, maybe?
What am I going to do
We
with
put it behind the paywall and we say, Nickelodeon, whoever owns the Ninja Turtles, if you want a scene that's about family and people are going to love it, you got to pay $9 a month.
Yep.
You go to bigsandwich.co. You can click on that link and you can get that scene.
I'm going to blow your mind.
Where they're like, we're not real brothers. Well, in a way, we are brothers.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan's like, in a way, you're the best kind of brothers there are. Mutant brothers.
Who beat up people.
They're violent mutant brothers. Hey, yeah, we are. And then you just wreck a convenience store. And they high five. They're like, yeah, we're brothers. We're violent brothers.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So anyway, it's probably been done. I probably saw that somewhere and just stole it. I don't know. Anyway, look, you know what? I would love to. I would never happen, but to like write something with the Ninja Turtles would be amazing. I like the Ninja
With
Turtles.
the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, with them. We'd write something together.
Okay,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
It'll literally never happen. But
well, yeah, because they wouldn't let you in the group. No. You'd have to prove how violent you are.
I could be violent, Mason. I could wreck a convenience store.
I guess you could.
Anyway, speaking of things that won't happen or might not happen.
Okay, here we go. This would be a good segue if you pull this off.
Hey, great.
Okay.
So you know how it's uncertain the future of Shazam in the DC universe?
Absolutely, yes.
It's not tracking well at the moment. People are kind of unsure, like, I don't know whether it's even coming out or know what's going on with
Zachary Levi has said some things that can be interpreted in literally any way you want, and it's caused everyone to hate him. Regardless of your stance on politics
anything.
or vaccination or anything, really.
Too
You're
vague, Zachary.
What did he say? Excuse me? Well, I don't like this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Neither do any of my freak family who think the exact opposite things that I do. None of us like him.
He got there was a tweet from I'm Vinny T who says, "Hey David, I don't feel like watching the movie because this is David F. Sandberg who's directing it, who I like watching the movie because of the drama happening around DC Studios. It is just killing the vibe of the film. There's a lot of uncertainty about DC's future. Just give us an answer whether Shazam will have a role in the future of the DCU." And David F. Sandberg replied, he definitely won't.
Actually, Shazam is the wizard, and the character is actually Captain Marvel, but for copyright reasons, we can't say Captain Marvel in the movie because Marvel has its trademark on Captain Marvel. But also, in the comics, I think they've changed his name to the Captain or something.
Did they?
I'm David F. Sandberg. Yes, they did. Yeah. I think
Oh,
so.
okay. I didn't know that part.
Which I don't. I think they should just call him Captain Marvel. in the
Yeah, who
comics. They're
cares?
still
Right?
allowed to. Yeah.
Whatever. But
Also, there's already a Marvel character called the Captain.
Yeah, is there?
It's in Next Wave.
Oh.
Which isn't around anymore.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, after he said all that, after he got real condescending, then he said, he said, it definitely won't be if people don't go see the movie. What I've been told is there's nothing in the Shazam films that contradicts the future plans for DC. They are like vaguely linked. You see a Batarang and some of Superman, but not all of Superman. And all of that. And also there'll be a universe reset with the Flash. But so he said the possibility for more Shazam is there, and if that's what you want, your best bet is to go see the film. I think there's a very good chance even if this doesn't do well, I think he'll be fine. I think even if it's bad, which I don't think it will be. And if it doesn't do well, I think he'll be fine. If he doesn't get picked up by DC, he will somewhere else.
You mean the actor Zachary Levi?
No, the director.
Oh, David S.
No, Zachary Levi will be done. He'll be finished.
Oh, no.
That will be the end of his career. I will make sure of it, basically.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm going to put on, I don't know, one of his masks and wreck a convenience store.
Or one of his masks.
One of his masks
that he walks around in the city doing good deeds.
That's right.
You'll ruin his reputation.
Yep, that's what I'll do.
Wow.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
So yeah, but also if it makes $1 billion, they'll find a way to squeeze it in.
Absolutely. Yeah,
but it won't.
I don't think it will. No, it's tracking lower than the last one. But if it's good, things can build and whatever.
True.
So we'll see. Anyways, maybe David Ayer's Suicide Squad cut.
I don't believe you, but go on.
Okay, so I think we talked about this recently that it would be strange for James Gunn when he's setting the universe to be like, and here's another version of Suicide Squad that's from 7, 8 years ago.
Let's stoke the fires. Let's really get those guys who were on the wane. And I thought to myself, you know what? I just like these guys around all the time. Just filling my life with noise and being angry. I like that. Yeah. I like that. So let's bring this back. Let's bring this back and tease the possibility that the Snyderverse will be coming back. Let's do it.
This is a different subgroup of fans, though, I feel like, who want to see this. Like the noise of the Ayer cut is not the same. I feel
there's some overlap.
There's definitely an overlap, but I'm saying it's a subgroup. There'll be a same group, but it's like a splinter of that.
That's true.
Group, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But some of this group thinks that the Snyder fans, they're all on the same side, but the Snyder fans would cut them out in a heartbeat.
Yep,
that's right,
and they're right to do that.
That's right. If they have even a sniff of a Man of Steel too, they'll kick these Ayer fans to the curb. Ayer cut, never heard of it.
You're right. So he actually replied to somebody on Twitter, but he didn't in Spanish, but I put it through Google Translate because that's the kind of person that I am, Mason.
A man of the people and international.
That's right. In relation to speaking to James Gunn, he said, I spoke to him a while ago, all with patience. He has the right to put together his new universe before visiting the past. Cheer up. Good things are coming. Winking smiley face.
Ooh.
That could mean anything or nothing.
That's
or
true.
Something, or maybe he promised a DVD double pack. I don't know.
Oh, wow. He's going to send everybody a DVD double pack?
That'd be cool.
Wow.
Wouldn't it? So, yeah. I mean, look, if they release it, I would be interested to see what it looks like. Yep. But I don't. If they don't, I don't care. Wow. If they don't.
You'll say anything.
I will. You're right.
Very strong stance there.
Yep.
I like it.
And the things I don't want people to know I said, I put on my Zachary Levi mask. And then I say them anyway, Mason.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe he just means I'll be making a new movie soon.
It could, exactly. Yeah. Or I could be working with James Gunn on, something.
Maybe, so. On a boat. We're building a boat together.
Are they really?
Yeah. And he says I get a whole room to myself, and I'm gonna put Suicide Squad stuff in it, but my version.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
It's going to be really exciting to see that boat that they're making together.
They're building a boat together. Yes.
Okay, for
fun.
Okay. And travels? No. Or are they just going to keep it tied up in the dock?
I think they say they're going to go on an adventure together, but then James Gunn will be too busy.
Yeah.
And every day David Ayer will be like, hey, James, you want to go out on the boat?
I can help
you.
I can help you set up your Suicide Squad bedroom too from your Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, you're busy? Oh, you're busy directing the future of the DCU? Okay. Maybe tomorrow? Okay, great. I'll call you tomorrow, James Gunn.
You know where I'll be. On the boat that we built together.
I'm just saying it needs to, because one guy needs to be here, one guy needs to trim the sails if we want to go out on the...
Oh, it's a sailboat.
Yeah, it's a sailboat. What did you think it was?
I just thought it was some kind of catamaran. That's a lot. Okay. No, what's the one...
You thought it was a speedboat.
No, what's the one where you go to Tasmania? It's got the big... It's got like
ferry?
The fin one. It's got like a big...
Sharks.
It's like that. It's
boxy sharks.
Yeah, it's a big boxy shark.
I don't think it's that.
No, it doesn't matter.
I think it's a little... I don't know what it is.
It's got at least 2 rooms.
It's got at least 2 rooms, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
I'm saying that as if, like, you could build a. I think what I'm imagining is that just a little tinny, like a little dinghy with a sail and a little diorama in it.
Okay.
Suicide Squad diorama.
Well, that's fun too.
That's fun too, I think.
We've got a lead actor, Mason, for the new
actor.
And yeah, that's right.
That's what they call him in Hollywood.
Do they?
Yeah.
For the new Hellboy reboot.
Yeah.
It's Jack.
Lacta's coming through, they say.
That's right.
Lacta's coming through set.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Jack Kesey, who was in apparently Deadpool 2.
Okay.
He's like a biggish guy, and he's going to be new Hellboy. There you go.
Look out, Deadpool! It's biggish guy.
It's pretty big.
It's pretty big. Oh, is he one of the prisoners in the?
Yeah, I think he is.
Super prison?
Yeah, he's in super prison. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There's a photo of him as one of the prisoners. Yes. Yeah. So, and we talked about this where it's set like in a like a village, like a remote village, and it's him and one other agent, and it's like early Hellboy days, and it seems like they're keeping it pretty low key in terms of like locations and spectacular stuff. And
Sure.
You're not going to see any giant big wheels and things, I'd imagine.
No.
You know, like a room full of giant big wheels.
Big golden clockwork wheels.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's cool. What do you think?
Pretty good. Hellboy, this convenience store is haunted.
Is it? Yeah.
I mean, maybe, sure. Yeah. I mean,
my shift's ending, so if you could just work the till while you take care of this.
Some of the magazines might have ghosts in them or whatever. I don't know. Keep an eye on them. Probably cigarettes and that. Keep them locked up.
Yeah.
If a kid comes in, that's a Nazi wizard and he wants the ghosts, so don't let him have the cigarettes. This budget is low.
Man, I can't wait for Hellboy works a shift at a 7-Eleven or whatever this is. A haunted 7-Eleven, maybe.
No, it's not really.
It's not really. It's regular.
It's just regular.
So yeah, there you go. Speaking of haunted, Mason.
Go on.
We got 2 trailers this week. Trailers of Here it comes. One was for the Haunted Mansion. Now, there was a Haunted Mansion movie. Eddie Murphy did one in like 2003. I haven't seen it. This one.
Now, was that post Pirates of the Caribbean? Or was it before Pirates? When did the first Pirates?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it was 2003, that was. So that came out in November of 2003, and Pirates of the Caribbean came out in June of 2003. So before. Okay. So these would have been in production at the same time.
Yeah. So it wasn't a case of Pirates of the Caribbean was a huge hit, and they're like, what other Disney park attractions can we turn into?
I bet they thought the other one was going to do better.
Like Haunted Mansion? Yeah, probably.
Than Pirates, because Pirates is like, it shouldn't have worked.
Absolutely.
And it only did once, really.
Yeah, that's true. but at the same time, can you build a franchise on a Haunted Mansion? Like, back to the Haunted Mansion?
How many rooms, you know?
This time it's a convenience store.
Owen Wilson was in a Haunted Mansion movie already.
Oh, but he's in this one.
It's one, the Liam Neeson one. Can't remember what it's called.
But this one, big time all-star cast. We've got a Rosario Dawson. We've got a Owen Wilson. We've got a Lakeith Stanfield is in this. We got different guys, other guys.
It looks
big guys.
More like, at least like the look of it is less sanitized than I thought it would kind of be. It looks like a real movie.
Oh my goodness!
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Harry Styles effect. I get it. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that? Like, it's like I don't know. There's something about it which there's a tactileness to it. You know, we talked about recently about how like a lot of movies don't look like nobody's touching anything.
That's true. Nobody's picking up a mug. See, I didn't really get that.
No, okay.
No.
Yeah.
So scrub through it real quick now, just to. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they're in. Okay, pretty good. All right, they're going in a room. That's not bad. Okay.
It's good to go in a room, isn't it?
Yeah. When is this set? Because the little boy has a little bow tie on. Is it set in the past, or is this a precocious child?
Great question.
Because Keith looks very modern.
Well, he's a very modern man.
He's a very modern man, isn't he? Oh, and Danny DeVito's also in this?
Yep.
What a delight. What an absolute delight. Look, I think some of the daytime scenes, the very few daytime scenes do look quite tactile, but I'm just seeing a lot of CG, honestly.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I did watch it on my phone.
Well.
But yeah, what I'm saying is it doesn't look that bad, which is pretty good. Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah. I like the director of this as well, Justin
Timberlake.
Simeon. Yeah, Justin Timberlake, yeah. Mason, and speaking of, we also got a trailer for Peter and Wendy.
Peter Pan and Wendy, James.
Peter Pan and Wendy, is it?
So you got to know. You can't.
I don't have to
know. I'm not going to watch a movie about
I don't
Peter
have
and
to
Wendy.
know this.
What are they, a married couple down the end of the block? Always arguing?
I don't have
what's
to
their
know.
deal?
Just break up.
Yeah, right. Oh, yep. All right. No, you're okay. Pretty good. Great.
So this one, it's another gritty retelling of Peter Pan's origin.
I mean, not that gritty.
Pretty gritty though. It's pretty gritty.
Pretty gritty.
Maybe not as gritty as the movie Pan, which is the worst movie ever made.
Yeah, we've seen that, haven't we?
Well, that was the movie that made me go, you know what? I'm not going to all of these screenings anymore.
I don't think I hated it as much as you do, but also I can't.
No, I remember because I came back from the beach for it, so it really rubbed me the wrong way. I remember I broke a holiday to come and see that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so now I don't do it. I don't go to literally anything anymore.
That's true.
Yeah, and it feels good.
Look, I have a question, and maybe this was addressed in the movie Pan, starring Hugh Jackman as the guy who was not Captain Hook, but a different guy. Blackbeard?
Yeah, maybe.
Blackbeard, maybe?
Yeah, because Garrett Hedlund was maybe Blackbeard.
Did that establish...
Without a beard. No, Hook.
Is Peter Pan native to Neverland? Or did he come from regular
he's an orphan kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
But was that established in Pan, or is that canon to every
Yeah, I
Peter
think because it was
Pan?
his origin, so it's when he first arrived. And then he
Okay.
becomes the legend known as Peter Pan.
Right. But in the original stories, did he come from
I
Earth?
think so, yeah.
Okay, all right. Good to know.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Because it was like, I can't remember the specifics, but he didn't want to grow up. And his mum was like, you're going to grow up and work in a bank. And he's like, get fucked, I will not.
That's right.
And then he flew away or whatever. That might not even be true.
Do kids relate to the idea of, I don't ever want to grow up? Did you ever want to be like, I never want to grow
No,
up?
I love being grown up.
Yeah, well, I'll be a little kid
better.
forever. Well, great. Enjoy not being able to drive.
I don't even like driving, but it's good to know that I can.
Enjoy not being able to drive to McDonald's and saying, can I get one of those birthday ice cream cakes? No, it's not my birthday. I just have money. Thanks. Then I'll just throw it in the ground in the parking lot and I'll leave in front of a bunch of kids. That's right. I can do this any day I want.
Anytime I'm not working, obviously.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I go to work a lot. I gotta work in a bank and I hate it.
I mean, we talked about
But
this.
I do get to do violence on ice cream cakes. So
we talked about this recently, like what would you do if like you're a kid again with like your mind now? And I think I'd just go insane.
yeah.
Just like having all your restrictions like placed upon you again. You couldn't tell anybody because they wouldn't believe you.
Because the meme, it was sort of a viral meme or a viral question that went around Twitter, which was, would you rather have $10 million or go back to when you were a kid but know everything you know now?
10 million.
Yeah,
straight
10 million. What are you... Like, hey, hey, mum and dad, can you should invest in Google for me. We won't.
Yeah, shut up.
We're not going to do that at all.
Shut up and talk to your racist uncle. Oh, how long is this? Is this the one that dies soon? Jesus. Sometimes
I
they
guess
die.
you could, yeah. That's true.
I can tell him that. Hey, I know exactly when you're going to die.
I've written this list. What do you want to know?
I'm literally going to count down your death. I'm going to be in the room. I'm going to count it down.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then I'll celebrate with one of these ice cream cakes if they'll let me buy one. No, it's for a death. No, it's for my uncle's upcoming death. No, it's not me. No.
Yeah, no, I was here last week throwing one in the car park, but this one is for a death. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this. This is unrelated. But, like, if you went back in time, say, and you had knowledge, the only thing you could really use it for is, like, to get rich, I guess. I mean, you could do it for other things, I guess. But, like, who cares? That's boring.
Yeah.
Like, you do it, and then what?
Right?
And all my future would be different. I'd meet different people. My kids would be different because it'd be a different sperm situation, Mason.
It would be a different sperm situation.
Yeah,
That's
and
so
I
true.
just don't want to deal with any of that.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. And also, like, if you were like, I think we should invest in Google or whatever, and then maybe that changes something, and then Google's not worth anything anymore.
Yeah.
Because the newspaper comes out and it's like, extra, stupid kid in Australia invests in stupid company. And then it ruins Google's whole vibe. It turns out Ask Jeeves is the popular thing. You get a Jeeves phone.
It's a black and white photo of you, like, throwing down an ice cream cake. I bought this one because I'm mad. Anyway.
Yes.
Peter and Wendy.
Oh, yeah.
I won't see it. Maybe I'll take
You
my
won't
kids.
see it?
Nah, probably
My
not.
goodness. What if it's the only thing coming out that week?
Well, then I guess if I need something to see with my kids, I'll go take them, I guess, if it's not too spooky scary.
Okay, right. Okay, good.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty standard issue, didn't it?
Yeah. It's not the worst thing I've ever
No.
seen. It's just that there's just been a lot of this, you know? So
the The Lost Boys appear to live on just some sort of abandoned island.
Cool.
I don't know what's going on there.
It's better when they're in a jungle. They got like a jungle house.
Well, you haven't seen this yet. Maybe you'll come out of this and you'll be like, you know what? It was better they lived on an abandoned island. Although that was cool.
Well, yeah, that was great, actually. Yeah, maybe you're right, Mason. Maybe this movie I won't see will prove me wrong.
That's right.
All right. Any more news?
Here's a bit of news.
Okay.
This is Creed related.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a spoiler for Creed in the sense it's something that's not in Creed.
Oh.
Do you think that's a spoiler?
Is it Rocky?
It's Rocky. Rocky is not in Creed.
Let's do it.
It's a Variety article why Sylvester Stallone's not in Creed 3.
Because he's mad.
He is mad. I didn't know this.
He's real mad.
Did we talk about this?
Maybe. Well, no, probably not if you don't know.
But I forget things, James. My
Yeah,
brain
you
doesn't
wouldn't
work.
forget this. You'd know if Stallone was mad.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. There's one part. Look, I guess maybe I was like, oh yeah, it would make sense that he's mad. But there's a bit about this that surprised me. So let's see. A lot of moviegoers may find themselves asking the same question: where the hell is Sylvester Stallone's Rocky Balboa? So he was in Creed and Creed 2.
Yep.
And he was in the Rocky movies.
Yep. And I think also Creed 2 did wrap up his story. I actually watched Creed 2 earlier this week in preparation for 3.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's really good.
Yeah. Look, as a trilogy, and we'll get into the movie momentarily.
Yeah.
I think it works that, the first one is the discovery of Adonis Creed, and then the second one he's sort of becoming his own man, and then the third one's his own separate thing.
Yeah.
For him, if this movie ended with Rocky showing up and being like, "Good job, Sluggy, you've done it again. I'm proud. I'm proud of you again. I'm proud of you again," and that's all you wanted, really.
I'm proud of you again. I remember you. I'm proud of you.
So apparently he wasn't the biggest fan of Creed 3's creative direction, and also this is the part that I didn't know. He has a clash against longtime franchise producer Irwin Winkler.
Yes,
which has an ongoing an ongoing feud of sorts.
He basically wants the rights.
I assumed because
he sold them in the 70s.
Yeah.
For like nothing. I mean, he made out like a bandit on these movies. Obviously, like regardless, he got to make 47 Rocky movies.
Yeah. Because that number's interesting because it's been 47 years.
Is it really?
I
knew that.
This is the 47th year. 9 films, 47 years. Right? But apparently, look, the Variety film critic said Creed 3 is a sports drama that feels more like a Cape Fear-inspired thriller than a traditional Rocky movie. Disagree.
No.
But...
what?
Well, that's
what element of it is Cape Fear?
I don't know. But they're suggesting it's a darker take than the uplifting Rocky franchise. So Stallone said... That's a regretful situation because I know what it could have been about the sequel's tone. It was taken in a direction that is quite different than I would have taken it. It's a different philosophy. Irwin Winkler and Michael B. Jordan. I wish them well, but I'm much more of a sentimentalist. I like my heroes getting beat up, but I just don't want them going to that dark space. I just feel people have enough darkness.
Okay, yeah. I don't know.
It's not that dark.
It's not that dark
at all. I didn't find it that dark at all.
I think if anything, it's more like your Rocky 3 and 4. It's not quite there, but it's got that kind of vibe at times.
Yeah.
To it. Not always.
Yeah, but Michael B. Jordan said on the radio, the underdog spirit, I think, connects the underdog in all this. I want Adonis to stand on his own 2 feet, and that makes sense when we'll talk about the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
I mean, also, like, he wouldn't have been able to make the original Rocky without making this deal with the studio. I understand, but I also understand, like, he created this entire thing.
Yeah, so Winkler owned it since 1976.
Yeah.
Stallone sold him the rights all those years ago, clearly unaware of the franchise potential for the character.
Sure.
Yeah, so there you go.
But it wouldn't have been made otherwise.
Well, that's true.
It's a real double-edged.
I mean, it's a double-edged sword,
fist.
And it is an amazing underdog story in the sense that he got to write it and star in it in the first.
And he
place.
gave up like a bunch of privileges to be in it.
Yeah.
Because they weren't going to let him star in it for at the time would make sense, like for good reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And watching him again in like Creed 2, he's very good in it. And he's really kind of understated.
Yeah.
Like he's great. Like he doesn't play it, I don't know, he's just really good at doing it.
Do you think he is like Harrison Ford in the sense that he maybe Ford loves Indiana Jones, but he doesn't like Han Solo?
So what doesn't he love is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying surely Stallone loves Rocky, but he doesn't love Rambo, is what I'm saying.
He still makes Rambos, though. Yeah, maybe not in the same way. Yeah. Because Rambo's like, I don't know, to me there's something like less interesting about Rambo. I also think Rambo movies aren't as good in general. Especially that last one. That was atrocious. But, whatever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is a quote from Stallone about Creed 2. Another heartbreaker. Just found this out. Once again, this is in caps.
Yeah.
This pathetic 94-year-old producer and his moronic, useless vulture children,
I remember.
Charles and David, are once again picking clean the bones of another wonderful character I created without even telling me. I apologize to the fans. I never wanted Rocky characters to be exploited by these parasites. By the way, I have nothing but respect for Dolph.
That was the Drago spin.
That was
right?
yeah.
And then Dolph Lundgren didn't end up making it. And interestingly, you know what we'll talk about? He's not in this one either. But anyway, we should talk about Creed 3.
Let's talk about Creed 3.
Now, Creed 3, Mason, this had a budget of $75 million. Now, at the box office...
That's cheap as chips.
I guess. At the box office, not really. The two people hitting each other. It's going to take the number one spot in the US box office and could hit as high as $50 million, which is actually going to be a Rocky franchise record. It's interesting to note...
High or low?
High.
Ah.
It will be the highest.
Okay.
It seems no matter what.
Well, then it's been a very good couple of months for Jonathan Majors, who's had 2 number ones in.
Well, that's apparently the last
minutes.
time this happened was.
Oh, I know. It was a lady though.
It was a lady.
It was
I want to say it was Zoe Saldana, but it wasn't.
No, it was before that. It's been a long
somebody
time.
else.
It was before that.
Yeah, but it's going to So
I'm going to do a big Google on it.
Do it. So it's going to take the top spot from Ant-Man 3. Which experienced the second biggest MCU second week drop-off ever, and that's behind Black Widow. So Ant-Man 3, just to quickly talk about that, it did have its opening was decent, but its drop-off was huge. And that's also Spider-Man, nowhere, where are we? Whatever it was.
Yeah.
That had
we down the shops?
That had a huge second.
No, we're down the shops. I'm going to get some chips.
Why not, if I'm here? That had a huge...
I'm going to get those honey soy chicken chips.
No.
What?
No, they're all right.
Your taste is all over the place.
I want a potato, just a raw potato.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Unwashed. But so that had a huge second week drop off, but also it had a massive opening. Ant-Man didn't have that big an opening, but it still had a significant drop off. But which you could say also, well, it had such a big opening that drop off is not as bad, which I guess could be true, but it's not good news for the MCU to have an opening and then a drop off like that.
Yeah.
Pretty
okay,
significant.
the answer, James, for people who are wondering, the last time this happened with 2 live action performances was in January 2013 when Jessica Chastain was in both Zero Dark 30 and the movie Mama. Both debuted at number 1 a week apart.
Incredible.
So there
incredible, even.
It's incredible. I'm incredulous.
Interesting. What did you think the story was?
All right. Well, Adonis Creed.
Yeah, I know.
He's been a big champion.
Yeah.
He's been through the bloody walls, mate.
He's brave.
Yep.
I agree. And not just professionally, personally.
Oh yeah, you think so?
Yes, Mason. He's been through the ringer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And he's retired though. He's retired on top. He's been the champ.
Yep.
He's been the light heavyweight champ. He's been the heavyweight champ.
And that's it.
Yeah. the big ones.
He beat up that guy again at the start of the movie in a montage.
That's right.
Montage fight or whatever.
He's retired. He's got a daughter and a Rolls Royce.
Yep.
That's all you need.
What happened to his old car?
I don't know.
Remember he had that cool car?
I don't remember.
Remember when he fought him in the second movie? He fought for his car. He's like, I got my car back. I beat up that guy. I got that car back.
I don't remember any of this.
Yeah.
No.
The guy that he fought at the start, you probably remember, is the guy from the first movie that he fought.
Yeah.
The problem when they put in real fighters in this often is they don't feel like they have big personalities. I think the same is for Rocky Balboa fights like a real boxer.
Yeah, that's right.
And he doesn't have that kind of it's realistic, but he doesn't have that. Or if you put in a Drago or a Mr. T,
sure,
they got these larger than life personalities which I think lend themselves to these movies.
But I also want to. I guess the problem there, and we'll get back to what the story was because I definitely know what it was.
I know you know,
but I get there. I mean, there are people in boxing with bigger personalities.
Yeah.
But I also think there is probably a fine line between having a big personality and not wanting to be defeated by a fictional boxer in a movie.
Sure, yeah, okay,
you know what I mean? There's a Floyd Mayweather, but is he going to be in a movie where Adonis Creed beats him up?
Maybe.
But
no.
Yeah. And it's the same with a lot of the MMA guys, I think, as well.
Yeah.
The bigger personalities, they don't want to be in one scene where a fictional guy beats them up.
Yeah, exactly. Where Jake Gyllenhaal beats him up, which was on social media. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, because he's going to be...
He's Roadhouse.
He's Roadhouse, right?
Jack Roadhouse.
That's right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were saying what the story was? You said you remember?
Oh, yeah.
And you definitely know?
Yeah. Anyway, he's got a daughter and a Rolls Royce, and he's retired and he's loving it.
Yep.
And his wife is still producing music and so forth. Those tunes. Those tunes we're loving.
Yep.
But then, what bloody happens? But a guy comes back from his past. He's like, hey, Adonis Creed, what's up?
I'm busy. I'm So I do boxing. I'm
That
busy.
busy, are you?
Yeah.
Really?
Pretty busy. Run a gym. Got this car.
Might take the car out,
What tell you?
drive it out, drive down the beach, maybe.
Get an ice cream cake.
Yeah.
Throw it on the ground.
That's right. That's right. But one of those ones with gold foil on it because I'm so rich. It's just a regular ice cream cake, but it's got edible gold foil on it. It costs $4,000.
But yeah, so his mate comes back.
Yeah.
And, you know.
And it turns out he's a mate from the past, and his mate from the past had a lot of potential, but he ended up in the slammer. And he's like, I want a shot at the title, and I'm a real good guy, so you should help me out, brother.
Yeah. And he does, but also nefarious purposes perhaps. And maybe justified. Jonathan Majors
Yes.
has a bone to pick. You know what I like about Jonathan Majors in
Go on.
this and also other things? He's like a...
Lasers? He can shoot blue
He
lasers.
shoot
out of his
lasers. That
hands?
was good.
Yeah, yeah.
Where he goes, run, Creed! And he was like shooting lasers. Yeah, that was good.
My Rolls Royce!
Yeah, and he killed him straight away with that big laser.
Spoilers for Creed 3, by the way. Because Michael B. Jordan was like, I'm going to go full anime on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if my character must die immediately from a super Kamehameha blast,
through the chest.
then I guess that's the way it's got to go.
You do that shot where you think he's fine and he goes,
Yeah,
and then you pan down and you see the villain through the
Yeah,
hole in
that's
his
right.
chest.
Yeah, yeah.
it's good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Vegeta, avenge me. And then he does.
He does, he has to. Yeah. Jonathan Majors, he's got this kind of natural, I don't know, maybe it's because it's real, like a real weird rhythm and energy and awkwardness to him.
Right,
Which I like, I should point out as well.
Yeah.
It's not like off-putting. He feels like real in the way he interacts.
Yeah.
And I've seen that, and then it's not just in this, it's in other things as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Even when I'm not saying even that he's playing the same characters, because he's not, but there's some, I don't know what he's doing.
You know what he's doing? He's not doing the Marvel rhythm. Is what he's
Maybe
doing
so.
ultimately. He's not just waiting for somebody to deliver a line so he can drop a quip on him. He's
maybe
actually
that's
it feels like he's actually having a conversation
Yeah.
with another human being.
And he's like thinking about or has thought about what he's going to say. And
yeah.
no, I really like him. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, I thought this movie was really good.
I liked it too, Mason.
It's not flawless, I don't think. But this is also, I think we've mentioned this in previous weeks, this is the directorial debut of Michael
Yes,
B. Jordan. So
that's right.
he's directed this, and I think you can tell if you know his background as a big weeb.
Yeah, absolutely. There's,
Guy who just loves anime.
He very purposefully put a bunch of stuff in this in the fights, which is anime. And you there's even a moment where he gets hit in the stomach, and it does that eyes bug out, kind of bent over,
and
kind
then you see the camera cuts to sort of behind his back.
Yeah.
And you feel like the energy of the punch has gone all the way through
Yeah,
him.
it's like that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Lost my voice there, Mason. It's like when Gohan punched Cell or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah, Dragon Ball. Z. Cell Saga. Anyway, Mason.
Yes.
So I liked all those anime influences. I think there was a dynamism to these fights, which, how do you do boxing differently?
Now, because I didn't see Creed 2 before this.
Yeah.
You watched Creed 2 immediately before this. How's the boxing?
I really like Creed 2, and what I like about it is bringing back Drago, and you got the two Drago brothers coming back for revenge. I like that a lot. But there's some fighting in that.
Ivan and Marvin,
where, especially in the big arena, it does feel like they're not really there at times, but the lighting doesn't quite work. Whereas this, they kind of lean into the surrealness of the ring, especially in the last fight. And there's a moment where, and this isn't really a spoiler, where everything just there's nothing
fades away. There's no crowd. There's no noise,
and it's just them.
It's not even. There's no music. There's no anything. It's just sort of them squeaking on the ring and punching each other. Yeah.
I think there's some good touches to this,
which I thought was great because it felt, it really sort of epitomized. They're just two men alone in this.
Yeah.
There's nobody's helping them. Nobody's really helping them.
They're not even.
they're a helpful team.
Yeah, sure. But they're not even listening, even if they are yelling stuff. They can't.
Yeah.
They're very focused.
Because we're feuding.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I should listen to you guys, but I've got a feud to take care of.
I think there are a few things that happen along this franchise where they make the boxing, they kind of change it up a bit. I know in the original one, it's kind of they get kind of more ridiculous as they kind of go. I think in a good way. Like when you get to Drago and whatever, it's just really outlandish. And then when they did Rocky Balboa, the start of that fight that he has at the end it's initially filmed like a pay-per-view event. Do you remember that? It's like you're watching it on TV, and that's how the first like 2 to 3 rounds kind of play out, and then it kind of switches to like like you got your cameras in the ring. And I remember in the first, I think it was the first Creed.
They should do cameras in the ring in a real boxing match.
Sure, yeah, why not? And mid-fight interviews.
Yes,
just as it's happening. Yeah,
and it should be just little kids maybe holding cameras.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but what was I going to say? In Creed, there's like a lot of one shot, or at least the original Creed, like one shot kind of fighting takes, and and the camera like is in the ring and like just moves around them, and you see them pop in and out of frame. And it's really well choreographed. And I think this was, again, like we mentioned, like a really interesting way of doing it. I also liked how they were fighting in the crypto.com arena. They really at some point.
Creed 3 brought to you by Hennessy brand, whatever it is.
Whatever
Whiskey,
it was.
Scotch,
something
vodka,
like
I
that.
don't know.
Yeah. I also like that Creed is old now, because he would be at this point. I mean, considering that he's Apollo Creed's son, they're already kind of pushing the timeline on that.
Right,
so he'd have to be at least mid-30s, late 30s at this point.
Sure,
So I guess he's about
He's a has-been now.
He's a has-been, yeah, absolutely, So he's retired for a lot of this and then has to, come back to do some big boxing. I don't know if you remember, Mason.
Oh, I remember.
But yeah, I think seeing the life cycle of this, of like a fighter, like you mentioned, that I thought that was really good, where they just didn't go, yeah, he's still the champion, he's still whatever. Like he was out for like.
Oh, there is a moment quite early on when Michael B. Jordan's talking to Tessa Thompson, his wife, and he's like, "Oh, you want a bit of this? You want a bit of this?" And he like lifts his shirt to be like, "I'm
Look
so
at me."
pudgy, or whatever." But you don't see it, obviously, because it's like, no, he's obviously unbelievably ripped all the time.
He has to
be. There was probably a moment on set where they're like, "How do we do this?" Like the director of photography is like, "How do we do this? How do we make him look fat?
Do we get a stunt gut?
Do we get a stunt gut? Do we get a stunt gut and he lifts his shirt and then it cuts to like a Ren and Stimpy weird,
like a hair sticking out of it.
Yeah, like goop coming out of his belly button. Just a real gross close up.
What do you think of this? Yeah. I also thought I liked the focus in this of his family with Tessa Thompson and his daughter. I think the idea that his daughter is hearing impaired, you could have that could have been nothing, or they couldn't have like not really touched on it and whatever, because you see like Rocky's son kind of in the original movies. It's kind of weird the way he kind of weaves in and out of
Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah, then he becomes Milo Ventimiglia.
Which is Milo 20,000, I think.
Wow, that's really good. Milo 20,000.
That's right.
Yeah, that's great.
Could start a rap career with that name, I feel.
And so they don't drop that idea, and you also see that his daughter has that same kind of like that fight in her that he has.
Yeah. And I thought she was really good.
I agree,
A young lady, her name is...
Little B. Jordan.
No. Mila Davis Kent.
Yeah.
As Amara Creed. Yeah, I thought she was very good.
Great.
Yeah. There was a good family dynamic, good family unit, I thought, yeah.
And the fact that they looked at like what Tessa Thompson, they didn't just ignore what Tessa Thompson's character had been through. She wasn't just like, I don't know, I'm Creed's wife or whatever.
Sure.
Though there is a bit of that in this, definitely. Where her hearing impairment has evolved as well to the point where she can't perform anymore, and she is obviously missing that.
Thank God.
I never thought she was great, Mason. Though having watched the second one recently,
yes,
she does a better song in the second one.
Okay, right.
Because I was always like, this isn't good, is it?
It's hard to...
How do you make like a pop
well, exactly.
song?
It's that we've talked about that. Like, what is whenever you watch a movie where it's like, oh my God, they've made a hit song. Like, and you hear the song, you're like, is that actually any good kind of thing? Like there's a moment in this where they go to a record label party, and the latest discovery is there, and she sings a song, and I'm like, yes, I don't know,
sure, pretty
auto-tuned, I thought.
Whatever you reckon, that's fine.
That's right. Yeah, I'm just here for the free canapes. So, but yeah, that was.
I think it was good that they explored that, and just like what is her life, what has it looked like, and now it's kind of her opportunity to, where he can step back a bit and she can, live more of her kind of dream and truth.
Dream and truth.
Yeah. And also, one of the Dragos is back. One of the Drago brothers.
That's right. Victor Drago.
Don't message me. I know they're not brothers. I just think like the idea that they're brothers.
Yeah.
I wonder whether Dolph Lundgren wasn't in it like out of loyalty to Stallone or...
Yeah.
because he's a fighter in this. Like he's still a contender. God, he looks like Zangief, that dude.
He does. Yeah.
But it's so he's now like he's helping out whatever, and they do some training sessions with him. I thought it was interesting to bring him back and how, they were fighters and enemies, and now they're just like, yeah, we're mates. We did this thing and
well, I mean, isn't that classic with Rocky and Apollo
exactly,
and the robot?
The robot, Paulie and the robot.
Paulie and the robot. Because they initially hated each other, and then in 4 they're married.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, so, okay, criticisms.
Yep.
I thought the pacing was a little bit weird.
Well, in what sense?
I feel like it felt to me like there was some missing pages. I think we'll talk about it in spoilers. But it felt like a character sort of wildly changed characterization.
Yeah.
Just in the span of a minute.
Okay.
And then maybe change back later.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
We'll talk about it in spoilers. But, I mean, beyond that, here's the thing, though. I think the performance, like the 2 lead performances, Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, I thought they were a great pairing, and I think they worked really well to every scene they were in, which is many of the scenes.
Many scenes.
Have worked well together, especially the last scene, which I'll talk about in spoilers again.
Yeah.
Which I thought was terrific.
Yeah. I agree. Should we do spoilers now, then?
Yeah, I must say best movie ever.
I must say best movie ever. I think if you like these movies, then... Yeah.
And you like big anime punches.
Pretty good one. What a good run that these movies have had.
Agreed,
like the worst one is like 5.
Worst one is 5,
I don't think I've seen it. I've seen like clips of it, but they're all pretty good.
I agree, yeah.
Like good or better than good. And that's something. I think this one is
even if you don't like boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you really like boxing, maybe you don't like this because it's probably unrealistic to boxing.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Because I know original Rocky he just leads with his face.
Yeah, but they didn't know how to film anything then, James. They didn't know how to film anything. It was just the most of Rocky 1, if you remember, James, is him walking down a corridor. He picks up a telephone.
Hello.
Oh, I've got the big fight.
Yeah. And
then it cuts to the end, and he's like, I lost, but I had a good time.
It's a newspaper. I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm in the newspaper. Adrian.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'm in the newspaper.
Rocky, I can't read.
Yeah, but look at the picture.
Oh. I love you, Rocky.
Shut up. Nobody asked you.
Anyway, that's us remembering Rocky 1.
I think also looking at what they did with Tessa Thompson in this.
Are we in spoilers? What's going on?
No, sure. But I think if you look back at like Talia Shire, you probably could have done more with that character along the way.
Who's that? Adrian?
Adrian, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is that her name? Yeah. Because she's a good actor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think and then in the 6th one, they're just like, yeah, she's dead. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
Well, she got Kamehameha through the chest, so I guess so.
Yeah, that'll do it, won't it? Yeah. Talia Shire, yeah. Cool. Mason, let's do spoilers.
Let's do big time spoilers.
Now, at the end of the movie, he beats up Damien. Damien's like, I'm a bad guy. And he goes, well, I'm going to have to beat you up in front of everybody.
You need to learn a lesson. I'm going to beat you up in public for millions of dollars, which is the only way this possibly could have gone down, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
You got to buy into that premise. If you don't really, if you're like, well, they could have just talked this out and not had a big boxing.
It's true.
Well, too bad.
Too bad indeed. So I assume, are talking about Jonathan Majors'
Well, he feels like a more complicated. And look, I guess you could say, okay, well, is you for it? Because so if you haven't seen it and you're still listening for some reason, Adonis wants to help out Dame. And Dame wants a title because he's been in prison for 18 years. He wants. And
he's an older fighter now.
And they're like, well, how can we make this happen? But one of the boxing champs that Creed is mentoring, he doesn't have anybody to fight.
Yeah.
Because he's beaten everybody, and there's no time for a new contender to emerge, right? And they're like,
I bet you could definitely find a guy just to get punched.
And they're like, listen, we'll get one of the Drago brothers in.
Yeah.
But then he gets one of his hands smashed to bits by an assailant. And so they're like, how about we bring Jonathan Majors in? He'll fight. It'll be a little exhibition match or whatever it is, and you'll beat him, obviously. And then we can make it like,
fun.
It's
like original Rocky. You bring in an underdog and whatever.
Yeah. And anyway, Dame absolutely paced this guy.
Yeah, but doing cheats.
Cheat?
He put cheat codes on.
I feel he did one cheat.
He did a few things. Like he held him. I think he held him at one point.
See, if I knew more about the rules of boxing,
I know
he put an elbow in.
Yeah, and he threw an elbow in his face, which you can't do.
Yeah.
But if you hit someone with like this part of you,
Yeah.
like that you could like knock someone out.
That's what
very
Batman's all
easily.
about. That's why
exactly.
he's all elbows and knees.
That's what I mean. Like if you hit someone like that, like you could, you really fuck them up.
Yeah,
as
don't do
opposed
that,
to-
I say.
No, I'm alright with
Save
it.
that for MMA.
Yeah, that's
well,
right.
They do it all the time.
I
probably.
love it there.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, and it's what I mean. If I am critical of anything, it's probably like there was this huge uproar because he did win mostly by punching this guy in the face, which I feel is fair game to do.
Sure.
So they're like, this is unheard of kind of thing, and I'm like,
Stop it.
Well, what did you think? I mean, there was a somewhat decent chance this would happen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
But then Dame sort of has this heel turn where he's all like, I'm the king of.
I broke that dude's hand.
Yeah,
on
but I did
purpose.
it. I'm a big time bad boy, and
Yeah.
ha ha ha, and I'm sucked in idiots
He's
kind
right.
of thing. And I'm like, wasn't he kind of a wounded kind of? Wasn't he kind of an emotionally wounded man who was just trying his best for a minute? And
I
then
think
it's like
he's-
actually he's a big time villain.
I think he's both.
Yeah, I guess
I
he
think,
could be.
that's
true.
I think that's kind of what I liked about it, where there was that element of like you never really hate him.
Yeah.
like he's just a wounded man. Who,
And I guess he was sort of like I guess you could blame some of it, not the beating up the guy with the hammer or whatever.
Yeah.
But like the euphoria of like, well, you've got this big victory, and so of course you're out celebrating. And if somebody came at you and was like, "Hey, I think you didn't fight fair," you would, you would say some harsh words, perhaps. What I like, my favorite part of that scene where Creed comes and confronts Dame on the beach, is that even though Creed is out of shape, he can just lay out a civilian with one punch.
yeah, that's right.
Like somebody comes at him and he's like, well, I'm going to knock this guy out. Clang.
I did.
Yeah, I did it. Pretty good.
No, you're right, because like anyone with like even like the most basic fight training could beat like a normal person very easily, And he was a pretty good boxer, wasn't he? By all accounts,
one of the best.
Yeah, he's got 2 movies about him prior to this movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Didn't you watch my other 2 movies? Didn't you watch that on Kid Cam, where little kids are in the ring and have to dodge haymakers? Didn't you watch that? This way, Mr. Creed. Clang.
Ow.
My sweet little face.
Because one of the things that Dame and also Creed is good at, it seems like, and they don't explicitly point it out, but like sometimes they do, but focusing on someone's weak points.
Yeah.
And one of them you see early in Dame's first fight, he takes out his mouth guard, and there's this jarring like pain, like he has like something wrong with his mouth. Do you know
he
what
got
I'm
a tooth knocked out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So I thought that would come back more, where that would be like a thing that he focused
Adonis,
on.
punch him in his wounded face.
But I thought like maybe like having that dental.
He's got a glowing weak spot in his mouth now. You should punch that.
Do you know what I mean though?
Hit his shield 3 times, and it'll disappear, and then hit his glowing weak spot, and then repeat that 3 times.
He'll send out some little guys you'll have to take care
That's
of.
right.
Yeah, in between
No,
rounds.
don't hit us, Mr. Creed. Ow. Ooh.
Do you know what I mean by that? That was
okay,
that.
so yeah.
Because he was like also focusing on Creed's like injuries over the years, so that
That's
made
true.
his injuries his strengths and all of that thing. I liked also. I think Creed's mum is great, and she's dead now though.
Yeah, wow.
But,
that doesn't preclude her coming back in potential sequels. I mean, flashbacks, obviously, or you put her in the brain of a robot.
It's true. Paulie's old robot.
I'm never coming to visit. I'm never coming to live here, Creed. I'll never do it. I want to be my own woman. I'm still independent even though I'm old. Mum, you're just an algorithm in a computer now. Well.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that means.
Well, put the laptop back in my house then.
What do you think the future of this is going to look like?
That's a great question.
Because I think there's a few things.
Well, I was going to say, just before we get into that, the last scene. So after...
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah.
I mean, the last fight, obviously, tremendous.
Yeah.
When Dame and Creed punch each other simultaneously,
Big punch.
that's the end point of, remember when Apollo and Rocky
III,
go to punch each other, and it's like, what was going to happen there? Well, they'd punch each other in the head, quite
And then
frankly.
in Rocky 6,
Yes.
Stallone has that painting, I think, of him and like them punching each other. And it's like, who painted this?
Yeah. Did you have to recreate this and they took a photo?
I know it was in the credits of that movie, but how does that work
Yeah, right?
for this? Yeah, anyway, go on though. You were saying?
My life's a movie. My whole life's a movie. I'm lucky.
But who's running his restaurant? I guess he is.
Maybe Milo Ventimiglia.
AB, but he lives in Boston or whatever.
Yeah, well.
Can't remember. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so the end scene, though.
The end scene, though, they're both in the locker room just by themselves.
Creed's like, boy, I really humiliated you then.
Yeah, for millions of dollars. And
Hope you learnt your lesson.
And Jonathan Majors is like, yeah, you kind of did.
Yeah.
But I also got millions of dollars, presumably. I think that's probably how this fight works.
You have more millions of dollars.
We got all that Hennessy sponsorship, I think.
Boy, did we.
Yeah, we're
At
both
Crypto.com Stadium.
We're both doing very well.
Yeah.
We insisted they pay us in cash, not crypto.
That's a good idea.
The crypto was worthless.
Yeah.
They told us that. They're like, by the way, the crypto's worthless. So.
Can't believe they were that honest.
But I thought that was a very affecting scene.
Yes.
When they talk, in some of this movie, and we talked about this just before, how about Rocky's like, this goes to some dark places. I don't know if it does go to some dark places, but I think it was nice to just see it, Creed is this guy who is trying to open up, but he's got this past where, him and his friend were beaten up in a group home and, they had a rough time of it and he just wants to move past it, but his wife would prefer him to talk about it. And it's just these two men who have a lot to say, and there's this scene where they say a lot without they say a lot with the limited kind of communication tools they have, and a lot with their faces and their expressions and all that stuff. And I just thought it was good acting.
I agree.
I stood up in the gold class cinema with me and no one else. It was completely.
It was
empty.
literally just you.
It was 11 a.m.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
But I'm like acting. I said.
Did you do that?
No, I didn't. But I thought I would.
Because what if somebody saw you?
Embarrassing for me, right?
Yeah,
I
I really
movie,
like
as
that.
you know, so everybody's always watching.
I did think it was weird.
The last time I went to Gold Class was for Rambo Last Blood.
Oh my god!
And initially I'm like, wow, Stallone's got my money both times, but it turns out just for Last Blood.
Thank God.
This one, nothing. Not a cent to
Not a dime.
not a cent to Stallone.
What if it was waiting for you? Hey, what'd you just see just now?
I know you saw Creed. Or as I call it, Rocky, maybe 9. I call it Rocky 9, I think. Anyway, put your money in a bucket. Brought a bucket.
I don't have any money. I've only got card.
Yeah, people say that a lot these days.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You're leaving? Yeah.
I'm a walkie to an ATM. Sly Stallone, no.
What are you doing?
You're so rich, Sly Stallone. It's the principle of the thing.
Just see the party where we punched each other. Yes, yeah.
Because my life's a movie. Anyway, what were we talking about? I've forgotten. That was a good scene. I thought it was a great scene.
I thought it was weird. He's like, why don't you go celebrate with all the people who love you? And then he's like, okay.
Yeah, I kind of
I thought he was going to be like,
maybe come hang out with Mike.
out with
I
us.
thought maybe they were going to go out together or something like that.
Yeah, just like old times. Go beat up a guy at a 7-Eleven.
Yes.
Just like old times.
The guy comes out of the 7-Eleven. He's like, oh no! And they just lay into him with their decades of professional boxing experience. Every punch is a kill. And they hit him so many times. Oh, no Rocky theme though. That's
Was there not in the credits?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
Wait.
I thought there was. I might be confusing it with Creed.
Well, there certainly wasn't any in the movie itself.
Yeah,
so
that's probably true.
They've moved on from the Rocky theme. But do we get a Creed theme?
There is a Creed theme. I don't know it though. There is one. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, the future of Mason.
Yes.
So they could have his daughter. I think that'd be way down the line though. That'd be at least 10 years, probably longer away.
Unless they give Tessa Thompson and Michael B. Jordan old man makeup.
That's true. Both of them old man makeup.
Old man makeup.
They both have long Fu Manchu mustaches.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting. Of like, what would a female boxing movie have do, and with also
women.
Women, but also like a hearing impairment as well.
Sure,
I think that something interesting to be done with that.
How do you sign with gloves on?
Great question,
isn't it? Though,
yeah, you just do a lot of nodding. I'd imagine. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting that she does have that anger kind of in her. Like Apollo, the original Creed had it, and then his son, and so on and so forth.
Seems to be a trend with these boxers.
Yeah,
anger and then violence.
I forgot because he had 2 other kids as well. Apparently, that's mentioned.
Oh, the other,
in passing.
Apollo.
Yeah, because his mum in this is not his real mum because he's like the child of an affair.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that from the first movie. Not that
remember that.
Not that it's super relevant, but it's but yeah, it's in the movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think it might be Creed's daughter fights her extended family?
Interesting.
Yeah, right?
No, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're just going to do another Creed movie.
Do you think so?
I think that will be the next move. Will be Creed does another Creed movie.
Do you think so?
Yep.
I feel like this was a quite effective capper for the
They're all
entire-
effective cappers.
They are, aren't they?
Every
Yeah.
single one of these movies is the
Okay.
end of the franchise.
Right,
So,
okay.
yeah, but also you could do Rocky's grandson if you wanted to. Like he
Okay.
would be probably the same age as around, or maybe a bit older than Creed's daughter.
Huh.
So you could do something with that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe they fall in love.
Sure.
Or have a boxing match.
What?
Rematch Rocky and Creed.
All gender boxing match in the future.
That's right. So yeah, I don't know. I think we're gonna get because I didn't get the sense at the end of this that he was retiring either. It wasn't like, well, now you've learnt your lesson, I'm gonna stop. I don't know. I mean, he could go back into retirement, but I didn't get the sense that he was like, I'm definitely done with this at this point.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was answered at all, is what I'm
Okay.
saying. Yeah,
All
so he
right.
could do more potentially with
Right.
him.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe there should have been a scene where he leaves the locker room and he's like, oh, jeez. That's all I had left of me, honestly.
It's really exhausting, actually.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't have Rocky to give
Anyway,
me a
I'm just
speech.
gonna go home and sleep. What do you mean I have to read our daughter a story? I'm so tired. Did you see what I just did? See what I just did? I got hit in the head so many times. I got hit in the head so many times anime style. It was ridiculous.
What do you mean Stallone standing outside the change room with a bucket? What do you mean? Like the actor? Yeah. I mean,
You did some of my punches.
my life is a movie and I got in this movie. I got into it.
You did 4 of my trademark punches. I designed those punches. You're gonna pay me for the punches.
Anyway, good movies.
That was good movies.
All in all. I can't wait for next Creed in 4 years or whatever.
I mean, look, I see.
you could mentor another person.
He could mentor another person,
Yeah.
but then is it like? I guess so. Like, I mean, if if I were to see a proper continuation of this series, I think it would be that it would be Creed takes the Rocky role and
Yeah.
he mentors another guy
I think you
or
need...
girl.
True.
In
But-
fact, if anything, it probably would be a woman.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just retreading the same ground
I
as
think it
last
also
time.
has to be somebody connected to somebody in these films.
Yeah, right.
I don't think it can really be. And I know Stallone wants to he talked about that as well, make a new Rocky movie where he mentors like a new guy,
Okay.
like a brand new guy.
All right, a baby.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
You got to find me the most brand new guy there is.
Your footwork is dog shit, mate. I don't know why it's Australian. I don't know. But
He's not allowed to for copyright reasons. He's got to be Australian Rocky now. Rocco.
yeah, bro. Yeah, he wasn't allowed to make that. He wanted to make another one where, new boxer and whatever, and he can't.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. But
Okay. Well, maybe I reckon probably in upcoming weeks there'll probably be an interview with Michael B. Jordan, and they'll be like, they'll
What's
ask all
next?
these questions,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "What's next?" So I would be excited to hear that. But I feel like I don't know.
I'd be okay if they just stopped.
Yeah, I mean,
for like a decade.
I
at
guess
least.
the two issues is obviously there's money on the table for sequels.
Yeah, especially this one has done the best ever. It seems.
Well, there you
opening
go.
weekend
Yeah,
at least,
but also, again, I felt like it was it's a trilogy and it's done. But we're making the money.
We're making the money.
The money gesture.
And remember, Rocky 2 was just Rocky again, but he won.
That's true. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how these things go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what Jaws 2 was? Jaws again, but the shark won.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that's what happened. Yeah. Cool. All right, should we move it along?
Put your insides in this bucket. Just put them in the bucket.
Just
Put all your guts and stuff in there.
save me the trouble. Put
I
it in
don't
the
even.
bucket.
I don't even like human guts. We don't even like them that much. We just take a bite and we leave. But if you could do that, if you put your guts in the bucket.
Just save me a little time. What are we doing next?
We're talking what we're reading and what we're going to read.
I believe you. I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? We're here in this
Hello.
segment of the podcast, and this is the part where we talk about what we did.
That's right. What?
What are we reading?
Oh.
I'm watching it, whatever.
Well, on your recommendation, James, I watched. It's a movie from last year, but I watched Emily the Criminal
And what'd you think?
with Aubrey Plaza as the titular Emily the Criminal. I really liked it.
Very
It's good.
good.
It's a good
Very
movie.
good
It's
movie.
very tense.
It's got shades.
It's so powerfully tense. Yeah, Theo Rossi is
Yeah,
his name.
he's very good.
Who's been in, I think he was in Sons of Anarchy and some other stuff, but we know him as Shades from the TV series Luke Cage.
That's right.
Where everybody was always like, Shades. He was like, yeah, I'm wearing shades.
That's
what of it?
me.
That's right.
Got any questions?
Where'd you get your nickname?
What?
Your nickname Shades.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get that nickname?
How did I get it?
Yeah.
It's a great question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, well, I am asking, yeah.
Yeah, I know, and I appreciate that is what I'm saying to you.
Okay. Now, you seem to be avoiding the question. I'm thinking maybe because the answer's embarrassing for you somehow.
Yeah, well, look.
I mean, the obvious answer would be that because you wear shades all the time, but the fact that you have an answer.
Yeah, no, that is why, yeah. That's, now that you mention it, that's correct.
Okay.
It's not a weird reason.
Okay.
It's a normal reason, not your reason, my reason. That's my reason as well.
Okay, thanks for your time, Shades.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Normal conversations happening in real time. Mason, what did you think?
Is it because you got your dick stuck in a lampshade?
Yes, I did.
That's what I knew it.
2 shades.
2 shades. More than once, I knew it. Because otherwise your nickname would be Shade. I knew it. I gotcha. And you're going to jail.
What?
For all the crimes you did.
Oh, yeah.
You did a lot of crimes.
Unrelated
to that weird thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Emily the Criminal, for me, had like uncut gems kind of vibes in terms of like, oh, this is very tense, isn't it?
It's so tense.
Yeah.
So for people who haven't seen it, so she is a sort of a struggling young lady.
Yep. Doing some shift works.
Yeah, she's doing some various shift works, and she's unhappy. But then somebody's like, "Hey, you talk to him. Go to this.
Talk to Shades.
Talk to Shades. Call this. Send a text to this number, and they'll help you out." And
ask him about his show. Ask him his nickname.
That's right.
Just a little hint.
Yeah. It's very cool. The answer's very cool. And they're like, and it's a sort of this somewhat organized crime situation where they're like, hey, just take this credit card. We've made you this card. Go in the store and buy a thing.
Yep.
And then just leave and with a thing, and we'll take it and we'll pay you.
Mm-hmm.
Easy done it.
Yeah.
And the sort of escalates, and it's tense.
Yeah. Boy, is it. Mm-hmm. There's fun little tense heists in it, but like I don't want to say low stakes. But there's the stake of like someone could just really badly beat you up or kill you.
Yeah. Or you could get arrested for
larceny.
Oh, yeah,
for all your crimes and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was terrific.
It's it's a movie where it's not the world is at stake, but if you are the one person in this, if you're the center of your own world and like you're trying to make ends meet and do all this sort of stuff, but you could go to prison for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Aubrey Plaza's really good in it as well, and really like terrifying in moments as well.
Yeah.
Which I really liked. That's good stuff, Mason.
What have you been reading or watching?
Well, I finally I finished watching all the Scream movies.
Oh, yeah.
Because next week or this week.
I bet I don't have time to watch them all, but I'll give it a crack.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So we've got, though this newest one has, I think, someone from every movie, even 4, which is like the one that nobody remembers.
Why not?
Well, it's interesting. So next week we're going to do Scream 6 and we're going to do the movie 65, which I cannot wait. Two good movies, I reckon, Mason. Can't wait for either
2
of
of the
those.
best.
Yeah. But Scream 4 is the one, like the first 3 are like a trilogy.
Yeah.
Like they're very clearly like set in the same era of like horror movies, and they're aping a certain like era of horror movies and genre or whatever. And the newest one is like they talk a lot about like high concept horror, like the Babadook and whatever. Like
when you say the newest
horror.
one, do you mean 5?
Yeah, 5.
Okay,
Sorry,
right.
yeah. So it's like elevated horror, and they talk a lot about that and how horror has changed, and now it's not enough to just have someone just kill.
It's got to be a metaphor. It's like this is about trauma.
Whatever, and they talk about how like Ryan Johnson ruined the franchise with his reboot and whatever.
Yeah,
it's very meta.
That's
but
good
then
stuff.
4 is set in that weird. It's almost like standalone, even though it's got like other characters in it. But it's set in this era of where they were just clean rebooting everything.
Oh yeah,
and so it was like they did like the new Freddy Krueger movie, the new Halloween movie. So it's like that level of like meta commentary for that really specific.
Because was
era?
Halloween 4 the one where it wasn't even about Michael Myers anymore? It was about weird masks or something?
That
might have been 3. Okay, right.
But they rebooted Halloween again in the mid 2000s,
with,
and they rebooted
Rob
Freddy.
Zombie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they did the same thing with Freddy Krueger, and and they did like sort of a Thing reboot, but sort of a prequel and whatever.
Oh yeah.
And they even talk about that in like the latest one, 5, before this new one, where they acknowledge in that now it's like legacy sequels. It's not a clean reboot anymore. You bring back originals and whatever. And anyway, I think they're all good in their own way. Like they vary in quality, obviously. But
how are the haircuts?
love it. Love all of it. But
Good.
I think like it's probably like 1 and 2 and 5 at the moment are probably the best ones.
Okay.
But again, there's something in all of them. So that's what I've been doing.
That's terrific. Also,
if you can watch them, you should.
Yeah, I'll give it a whirl.
They're on
Is there,
Stan, maybe?
They are on Stan, yeah, because they're an iconic series.
And there's also a TV series which is unrelated, which I haven't watched. Yeah.
If I had to skip some,
you probably skip 4.
Okay, right.
But
that's the twist, isn't it? Because probably 6 has a guy from 4 in
yeah,
it. He's a linchpin of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, you skipped 4. And it's very meta because he was the most important guy.
Absolutely.
But they're all in continuity. So
they're all in continuity, yes. Right. There's, I don't know if you remember that there's a lady cop who gets murdered in 5. And she's introduced in 4. And I remember, because when I saw that movie, I'm like, I don't remember this woman at all.
I see.
Because, like, I only remember, like, the original ones, or even like 1 and 2 even. So,
right.
But so Hayden
Panettiere,
who's in 4, comes back in this newest one as well. So, I don't know.
Which is Italian for Hayden, one of those cakes you get at Christmas.
Panettone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those like alcoholic cakes or whatever they are.
Yeah.
I like them. They're good.
They're pretty good.
What else have you been doing, Mason?
The final issue of Human Target, issue 12, written by Tom King and illustrated by Greg Smallwood, is out, but I haven't read it yet.
Is it a good series as of so far?
I think it's good.
Cool, I should read that.
Some people are hot and cold on Tom King, I think. I haven't loved everything he's made.
I like
but
him.
We read that Superman comic Up in the Sky, which I got a hardcover of.
Yeah, really good. Did you?
I'm like, I'm going to get a paper copy of this. I like it so much.
Can I have it?
No.
Not to borrow, bear in mind, to keep.
Oh, then yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I live to give. I think it's good. It's sort of I've mentioned it before, but it's Christopher Chance, the Human Target, the master of disguise. He's got to solve his own murder. He's got 12 days to live, and he's got to figure out who done it. And he's got to and it's the 90s, I think, in it. He's crossing paths with all the Justice League International, all the wacky ones from back in the day.
What about mulleted Superman?
No, mulleted Superman isn't in it. But there's a great Batman issue.
I don't want to
spoiler alert, Batman's not in.
Oh, okay.
But it's sort of this exercise in paranoia where he's like, where he's like, well, Batman knows I'm tracking down members of the Justice League, so he's probably following me. And it's just this like exercise in paranoia where he's like, well, obviously I'm going to do this, but he would know about that. And like, I'm the master of disguise, but he can see through disguise. Is that him?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's a great single issue, I think. But you should probably, it'll be in trade, I don't know. Soonish, probably. Right. So
I'll read that. Yeah. I also watched the first episode of The Mandalorian.
That's back, isn't it?
Which I like, but it very much felt like an episode of like, look, we know you didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett. We know you all didn't. So he goes back to the armor and he's like, can I come back? And she's like, I told you got to go to Mandalore and bathe in the waters of Mandalore, idiot. Get out of here. And he's like, all right.
How long do you think it's going to be till he reunites with that Grogu character?
And then he pops out of the ship at the back.
Huh.
Remember he came back in Book of Boba Fett?
No.
You
didn't watch it.
No, we did a video.
No, I know. I'm doing a bit of a joke.
Oh, you're doing a joke.
I'm doing a bit of a joke.
I didn't recognize your jokes.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Few people do. But one day I'm going to cut through to the mainstream.
That'd be rad.
But there's no acknowledgement of that. There's no like.
No.
Yeah, great.
I don't even know if they did it in the recap.
Did you see this is one bit of news, James? Did you see the Favreau was like, actually, the first two seasons of Mandalorian took place over like 40 years or something. No, and people are like, no, they didn't.
No, he said Grogu trained with Luke for 2 years, and people went insane.
Yeah, right.
And I think he walked it back in another.
Well, Filoni apparently, the other producer of these shows was like, no. But because it also people were like, okay, well, if that's the case, then Mando was just wandering around without a ship for like 2 years, just being like, boy, I wish I had a ship. I'm sad though.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that Pedro Pascal is not in that show at all.
Oh yeah, they just acquired his. He did the voice, and they acquired his likeness.
I mean, why would he be? Right? Because I know in the first season,
he's busy. He's doing the Last
of Us. Of course he is. I know, but in the first season,
he's busy being interviewed on red carpets where they're like, "Here's some perverted stuff people said about you on social media. What about this? What about this?
Thanks.
Thanks.
I'll take
man.
this in stride.
Thanks. Yep.
You haven't watched The Last of Us yet, have you?
No, I haven't yet. No.
Mason, how are you going to watch all the Scream movies and The Last of Us and episode 1 of The Mandalorian season 3? And you got to catch up on the Book of Boba Fett because you forgot.
I'll watch them on multiple screens at the same time.
Actually, yeah.
I'll bring in several phones to the screening of Scream, and I'll watch the previous Scream movies. When picture in picture, I'll watch two on one phone.
That's a good idea.
And I'll also watch The Last of Us, and I'll have a couple of headsets in, but I'll have a couple of things with open captioning on them, and a couple of things I'll just have on the loudspeaker or whatever.
Nice.
It'll be fine. I'll go to gold class, and there'll be nobody else there. So.
That's really good.
And even if there is,
except for Stallone with a bucket.
Stallone will be there. That's right.
Yeah.
You got a lot of phones.
Yeah.
You give me a couple of your phones. Stallone, you probably have heaps of phones.
Yeah, but
it's principles.
Put your phones in the bucket.
This guy.
I don't like him.
Yeah, I don't like him either.
I think he's a good actor, but I don't know.
Maybe that's what he's doing.
Oh, it's good acting.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that's fine then.
Yeah, I think
Anything else, or should we move it along?
Let's move it on to letters.
Letters time, everyone!
Letters. The classic one was
Letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away.
we're going to hear right now. We're going to do letters.
You know what I like about recording so late?
What's that?
I got to be up in like 3 hours.
Oh, do you like that?
I love that. What do you love about it?
Because, like, in your position, I probably wouldn't like that.
Nah, it's where we're different. That's where we differ.
Yeah, right.
I
feel like
I hustle and I rise and I grind.
Yeah, because I like a lot of sleep, but you're suggesting you hardly like sleep at all.
That's right.
Yeah, wow.
Why sleep when you can learn?
What are you going to learn?
Just everything.
Oh, wow, that's really good.
I'm making my way through most things. So
okay, on multiple screens.
Yeah,
great,
listen to a podcast. I got a side hustle.
I love the idea of a guy who's got multiple screens and he's like, I'm learning this. I'm learning about Aristotle and I'm learning about
listening
whatever.
To you.
And then the next day you're like, what are you learning? He's like, I don't know.
Name one thing.
I couldn't tell you anything.
Yeah.
Here's an email from Dominic. You can just email us weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com.
It's true. Or send us a tweet at hashtag
That's right.
weeklyplanetpod.
Yeah.
And then they said Todd. Don't do that.
Oh, yeah. This is about a bit of controversy, James, and we'd like your opinion on this.
Well, I don't know about this.
Hey again, James and Meso.
Hello.
I thought this subject might be of interest to you, as I know James likes the Corridor Crew and is the guy who knows everything about anime.
I
That is
do.
true.
That's on both of those.
The channel recently made an AI-generated video that turned a live-action performance into AI anime short and was followed up by a video titled, Did We Just Change Animation?, which also talks about creative freedom and democratizing animation. Unfortunately, these have caused much controversy and backlash, as many people, fans, experts, and industry employees alike have called it out as stealing and ripping off the labor and creative work that goes into animation and would try to make them become obsolete. Would like to know how you guys feel about it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely. I think it's I have seen the video and like the thought process behind the technology and the way it looks. I don't know if you've seen any of it.
I have seen it.
It's pretty. Like it looks good, right? From that perspective, I'm
sure.
saying,
Yeah, right.
I mean, like the fact that they can do stuff like that now, and
it looks like the Castlevania.
Yeah, exactly.
Content.
And they're doing it off a budget of like. I know they have a budget, but they're not like they wouldn't have put like $5 million into this or whatever. So from that perspective, yeah, as a tech demo, it's really fascinating. But then on the flip side of that, to have something look like that, you need to feed it a bunch of AI art.
Well, exactly the thing. It's like all AI art. It isn't generating it out of nowhere. It is consuming other people's art.
Yeah.
And depending on the prompts you put in, I guess, or the algorithm you describe, it takes more from different people than others. And people should. This is like in the 80s when music sampling was coming to the fore, where you could take a clip of some other people's music or whatever and put it in your own. And there weren't really any rules in terms of like, do you have to credit people?
Yeah.
Do you have to pay people?
Yes.
And then there were some very high-profile lawsuits, and it turned out you did have to credit people and you did have to pay people.
You did have to credit people. Vanilla Ice.
That's right. And MC Hammer.
Yeah.
Both of you guys. Oh, you know what I'm going to listen to?
What's that?
The all De La Soul's whole discography is on digital now.
Oh, really?
Because they were hit with some high-profile lawsuits back in the day, and so their record label never put any of their stuff on streaming because they were like, well, what if there's some other stuff hidden in there that might get copyright hit, basically. So they were sort of like a contemporary of the Beastie Boys because everybody knows the Beastie Boys, but not a lot of people know De La Soul because you can't.
What was the reasoning behind that? I don't remember.
So back in the day, they had a couple of albums that were very heavily sample based. So did the Beastie Boys. They had an album called Paul's Boutique, which was all samples, which you can't do these days because that would cost like $50 million, you'd never make your money back. But back in the day, you could do that. Anyway, there were these big high-profile lawsuits with MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice. And so everybody who'd done this, which included...
just looking up this discography now, Mason,
But what happened with De La Soul is they also had a couple of albums that were very heavily sample-based.
Sorry. And we just played it through here.
Oh my goodness. We would have been...
would have gone to jail.
But basically what happened, if I remember correctly, is what basically they and the Beastie Boys both did is went to all the record labels and were like, let's make deals on all this stuff. Let's sort it out as quickly as we can. What do you want? Et cetera. Yeah. And De La Soul did it for all the songs on their album. But crucially, in that era, hip-hop albums had a lot of skits in them as well, where it was like a little dialogue and a little bit of jokes and what have you.
All this stuff has just gone up on their YouTube channel. Like it's I mean, they had stuff before that, like that they'd made sense. That's really interesting.
And basically, one of the skits had a sample from. You remember that band, The Turtles? That song,
Imagine Me.
Yeah, that one. Well, it wasn't that song, but one of the skits had that in the background.
They had another song,
and they didn't clear it because they didn't think that it was. They didn't remember it was there, basically, and then somebody from The Turtles sued them for a lot of money.
Damn.
And then they're like, well, what else could be in this album? We can't remember. What else could be in this? And so basically the record label's like, well,
we're not touching this.
Forget it, we're not touching it for years. But they've sorted it out apparently. So
cool. There you go.
If people don't know De La Soul, listen to 3 Feet High and Rising, which is a good album, I think.
I will, Mason. But anyway, back to animes.
Yeah, back to the various animes. Yeah, so we're in this era where they've got to sort this out because a lot of, and again, depending on the algorithm, what have you, some artists have looked at AI art and animation, all this sort of stuff and gone, that's literally my art.
Yeah.
You can see that I made that and you've made,
Somebody probably just said, this picture, but in the style of my name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's right. So
they're
going to have to, the next few years, I think, is going to be a lot of legal challenges and people figuring out what this is. But also, like...
I don't think that video wasn't an attempt to be like, look at this thing we can steal, because they're also been very open about like paying creators properly and the how visual effects artists get like and stunt people get crushed like monetarily for their work and whatever. But
I think I think an issue a lot of people do have is the notion that they're democratizing animation, because I think the thing about a lot of animators is that, they like, well, if you at the most basic level, you can get a little book and draw you can, it's easy. You just need a notepad and a pencil and you can do animation in a lot of ways, or you can do it with an app or what have you. It's the idea that, well, if you can't make this commercial level of animation, you're not a real animator or whatever it is. Whereas, you got to start somewhere. And I think a lot of people, it shouldn't be this algorithm stuff. It should be, the basic level. And I think a lot of people have started.
But like the idea that you could create your own particular style, feed that in, and then have that inform something through the AI.
Oh, that's pretty good.
You know what I mean? Like I think there is definitely a use for this.
Right.
But just the idea of just being like, just that guy's style.
Yeah.
And it's something, I think like you said, something's going to happen or something's going to have to happen. Yeah. But again, like as a tech demo.
That's true,
fucking incredible. Like unbelievable. And just like, I don't want to say like the ease in which they did it, because there was obviously a lot of thought and effort behind it, but the fact that they cracked this fairly quickly after this stuff started appearing.
That's true.
Is like pretty terrifying as like of what can be done. Because they also, it's not dissimilar also from like rotoscoping in movies. Remember Scanner Darkly? It's like a Keanu Reeves movie.
Yeah, with Richard Linklater made that one.
Yeah, and there's a few other movies that are done in that style.
Would that have all been by hand?
It would have been. Probably would have been, yeah. I don't know the specifics of it.
But be that bloody guy, that guy.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. As long as podcasts are safe.
Oh, De La Soul is dead is on here. Oh, what a world.
Oh, no, they're dead?
No, they were, well, actually, True Guy died.
Oh.
But, anyway.
Pretty cool.
That album's got a Ring 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 on it, which is a great song.
Great.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry, you can't get
number. There's something down the back to you. Imagine me and you.
No, James, no. The turtles are coming.
This is from William Robinson.
We're the turtles. We're the turtles. We're going to bucket.
Put your entire back catalogue in this bucket. William Robinson says, #WeeklyPlanetPod. Hey, James and Maso, I hope you're well. My dad has rarely messaged me to ask about a film as much as he has for the upcoming 65, and it got me thinking.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think makes the quintessential dad film, and which other films spring to mind as examples? Thanks.
Well, here's the thing.
What?
You don't know.
That's
It's
true.
up to the dad.
individual
but if I was
dad.
going to generalize,
It would be a pattern movie about General Patton.
oh, that'll do it.
That's
won't it?
more like our dad's generation,
Yeah,
though, than
yeah.
current
I mean,
generation
yeah.
of dads. Yeah,
What about a modern? You're a modern dad.
I'm
What
a
would-
modern dad, aren't I? I
yeah.
skateboard.
What if you didn't?
I do magic tricks?
All the stuff. If you didn't do this, like, I guess you're an outlier because you have to see a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have to see anything, what would you watch? What would be a dad movie for you?
God, I think I would see 65.
Yeah, right.
But also, like, I don't know if I'd be able to wrangle anybody to see that with me.
right.
So I'd be working full time.
That's true.
So I probably just wouldn't see it.
You'd see it on streaming, maybe.
Yeah, like eventually.
Yeah.
I probably would see Scream. I'd probably go out of my
Okay.
way to see that maybe.
With the modern dad movie?
I probably wouldn't see Ant-Man 3.
When you said 65, that brought to mind to me like an Independence Day. Like I feel like
Yeah,
it's
okay.
akin
Yeah,
to
yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of. It has that same vibe to it, I think.
Yeah.
So, is it what you watched as a kid and like the modern version
I
of
think
that?
so, yeah. My dad loves, like, because he watched we went to boarding school in the country, and every Saturday they'd watch like a Western or a war movie or
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
And so he'll every now and then he'll go and see one of those at the cinema. And I think it's just so he can come back and go, that wasn't very good. And that all real. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That wasn't a real U-boat or something.
That's true.
You know? And maybe he's right. Yeah. I don't know. What would you be saying if you weren't doing this?
And I were a dad. And in many ways, being a podcast has gotten in the way of me being a dad.
That's
I think
true,
that's
yeah.
the main impediment, and nothing else. I reckon like a Nolan.
Yeah,
Any kind of Nolan.
That's
anything,
interesting.
You know?
Yeah. You'd be excited for Oppenheimer.
I'd be excited. I mean, I'm not excited for Oppenheimer.
That's what I'm saying. I think my dad would be excited for Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Somebody said, you know how we've always talked about what is the Nolan twist for Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
Like, what's it going to be? Because he won't just do a straight biopic of Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And I think somebody suggested when they were developing the nuclear bomb initially, there was some speculation that if
I'd like incinerate the atmosphere.
if the calculations were incorrect and they were working off of the wrong theory of atomic fission or what have you, that it could have ignited the atmosphere and killed everybody in the world. Maybe that's it.
Okay.
Maybe it's become some sort of post-apocalyptic thing where
And they'll just hold their breath.
it's an alternate future and an alternate past rather where the
Oh, an
entire world-
alternate?
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe
Yeah.
that's right.
I've got a tweet here, Mason, from Abby who says #WeeklyPlanetPod. One thing that bugged me about Ant-Man and
yes.
the third Ant-Man is that the real Ant-Man is actually Hank Pym, which is doing stuff with ants. Scott Lang is just a guy in a suit that makes him very small and very big, and that makes him generic. I can't really disagree with that criticism. But I think, and maybe not so much in this movie, but in the other ones, the appeal of Scott Lang is that, and it's in the comics as well, that he's an everyman kind of loser.
Yeah, right.
And he's not a scientist guy.
That's true.
Because there is a lot of scientist guys in the MCU
Yeah,
also.
but see, I would argue that you could if you're going to break it down that far, you could argue that of many characters. You could say, well, Iron Man's just a guy who flies around in a suit, but he's also an asshole.
It's true, yeah,
and
there's
that's
two things.
It's two things, and that's a delight, and people enjoy that.
Yeah.
So that's it's about, and I would.
It's got to be a thing and a thing.
It's a thing and a thing, but I think the strength of the Marvel universe has always been and continues to be.
Agreed.
It's not about just the powers. There's got to be some character behind it. Because you can, I guess you can watch a guy. It's pretty cool. He's in an armored suit and shoots missiles and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there's nothing behind that, you're not.
Then it's that Owen Wilson director streaming one.
Yeah, I live in a secret lab or something.
Iron Man Dad or whatever.
Iron Man
it is.
Dad.
Yeah.
That's
What else you got, Mason?
right. Ooh, great question.
I've got one more.
Okay, all right.
It's from Nicole, who says, #WeeklyPlanetPod. Since James, at Mr. Sunday Movies, is an anime expert, I wonder what his thoughts are on the new Attack on Titan episode. Worth the wait? Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
I think so.
Big revelations, probably.
It's been a long time coming. It's been many seasons at this point.
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, but for me, it's easier to keep up. because I know when there's a new one coming and I have that exact streaming service and I'm ready for it. I set aside the time in my day for each new release of it.
Oh, yeah.
And this one, I've got to say, you can see how it connects to the previous episodes.
Oh, nice. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it in anime. Yeah. It's that Eastern philosophy, you know?
That's
you don't get it in
yeah.
Western animation.
You don't.
You know?
You really don't.
Yeah.
So, that in answer to your question, what I said.
That did thoroughly answer any questions I would have, actually. So that's pretty...
I've been Nicole, but you also. All right, Mason, what else?
James, here's an email.
Oh, an email?
From Emily. And she says, my boyfriend loves your podcast.
Yay!
Hello, she says. I was wondering if you'd give a shout out to my boyfriend who listens to your podcast regularly.
What's his name?
His name is Maxfield.
Ooh, Maxfield.
Which I think is a great name.
I agree.
He told me you read write-ins at the end of your episodes and introduced me to you. He says he's been listening to you guys for years.
How many?
Just says years.
So 2.
Oh, you think it's 2?
Yeah.
All right. Email back in. Let us know. We're in a medium-distance relationship, and whenever he makes the 2-hour drive, he tells me how excited he is to listen to your podcast during it, since he purposefully waits to listen to each new episode when he comes to visit.
Nice.
Yeah. I love him very much, and I know he loves your show, so it would mean a lot if you included this in your next episode.
So you love him,
Yep.
and he loves us.
Nice.
And then it ends.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the end of the line.
That's right. As long as the love is coming to us, I think it's fine.
And we absorb it.
Yeah.
And we move on with our day.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, happy birthday, Maxfield. Is it Max last name Field?
It's not his birthday.
Maxfield, isn't it?
Presumably at some point it'll be his
Happy birthday, Maxfield.
Yeah, this is from whenever your birthday is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You maybe save it till then.
In fact, if Emily could, what I would recommend for Emily, listen to this episode first.
Sure.
And then remember when his birthday is, and then stop him from listening to this episode until it's his birthday. In fact, stop him from listening to any episodes of this podcast. Put your foot down and be like, stop listening to this stupid
Max,
podcast.
If you love me,
you'll stop listening to this podcast. It's me or the podcast, you can say. Stop listening.
And then surprise.
Like in 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
After he hasn't listened to the podcast, be like, hey, listen to this podcast from March.
Yep.
A bit of a shout out on there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you will still be together.
That's right. I think so.
After that 6 months.
Yes.
Of you enforcing this rule.
That's right.
Fantastic stuff, Mason.
I know.
Happy
Anyways, if
birthday,
you read that,
everybody.
thanks so much. I know it'll put a huge smile on his face from Emily. So there you go. That's what we're all about, James. We're all about putting a smile on your dial.
We do.
That's right.
We make it happen.
That's right.
Mason,
we guarantee it.
We guarantee it.
That's right. Or your money back. Not your big sandwich money, obviously.
No, that's ours.
No, that's ours. We cannot give that back. We physically are incapable of giving that back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, Mason.
That's the whole show, I think.
I agree.
Folks, thank you so much for listening. We absolutely appreciate it.
We do.
We thank you. We appreciate you telling your friends about the podcast. And we appreciate you subscribing. And we appreciate you giving a 5-star review on your podcast catcher of choice. James, do you have any 5-star reviews?
Got 2 here. This is from Peach Dick, who says podcast.
Excuse me?
This is 5, there's nothing. And
All right.
5 stars. You can do
Is
it
this
in
a
that.
shade situation?
No.
Okay.
It says podcast, more like podcast, 5 stars.
Nice.
That's great. And this is from Tony, who says 5 stars also. Great podcast. One of the few podcasts I can listen to on a weekly basis. I've been listening for years, presumably 2.
Probably 2
and
years.
plan on keeping it up for years to come, presumably 2 more. Hosts have a great repertoire with each other.
We've got a repertoire with each
agree.
other.
And make it very approachable listen.
Not much of a repartee, but we do have a repertoire together.
Yeah. We also have an apertoire. But that's
We do
not,
have an
that's not
apertoire.
right. We can't talk about that right now.
Yeah. It's a Mr. Beast situation where we're doing some side hustles and stuff.
Yeah.
We're killing animals.
Yep, that's basically
We don't know
it.
what to do with it yet, but I mean,
We're amassing a really big pile, though.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll you know what, we will definitely figure out what to do with it before it all spoils.
I
think.
agree.
Yeah.
What about some kind of pile of dead animals to the moon or something?
Yeah. Or we could sell possum meat to McDonald's. There's a lot of possums.
It's mostly possums. All right, Mason.
Oh, yeah, folks, if you
else?
want to get into contact with us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod at Gmail, at Facebook, at Twitter, and Bandcamp. You can go to the Planet Broadcasting Grey Mates Facebook group. You can go to the Weekly Planet subreddit and Discord. If you want to follow some people on the socials, first, follow our great friend Rob Collings. He's at Raw Collings on Twitter. He's at the Weekly Planet on Twitter. That's where you get all the bloody Weekly Planet news and fun little edits and little videos and stuff. He's throwing all sorts of stuff out all the time. He did our video on 1990s The Flash.
He did. He absolutely
Tremendous
did.
work, I think.
Because Lawrence got married and Ben went to the wedding. And I was furious, obviously.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
luckily, Collings was available to
That's right.
step up. I really appreciate that.
You called the caterers and you were like, the little nameplates. Can you put "You're fired" on them at the wedding? Can you bet they couldn't do it? So I guess they live to edit another day.
That's
I
right.
guess.
Yeah. Back this week for Supergirl.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can also follow us if you want. I'm Wikipedia Brown on Twitter, and on Instagram I'm Nick Maso. James is Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere. If you want to support the show, to go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. Chuck in $1 if you wish.
That's right.
Don't have to, though.
No, you
Podcast
absolutely
free.
don't.
It's the beauty of podcasts, they're bloody free.
That's right. We're thinking of maybe doing some Let's Plays on there as well as a bonus thing. I don't know whether that will happen. We'll see. Yeah.
We do love video games, and we're famously good at them.
That's true.
Also, if you got big bucks, you can go to bigsandwich.co. If you got that Apollo Creed, Adonis Creed, Rolls Royce money,
my
go to bigsandwich.co. He would do it, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we'd promise him some anime content, and he'd do it.
That's right. Absolutely.
Go to bigsandwich.co for $9 per month. Bonus podcasts, early videos, ad-free podcast feed, movie commentaries, all sorts of stuff. We're loving it over there. We're having a great time.
We really are.
And t-shirts at tpublic.com.
Yes.
Follow Ben and Lawrence. Follow Matt. Follow everybody. All the Weekly Planet posters. Follow all the greats.
Follow Maisie or Marty.
Sarabi.
Fidel. They're in the Great Mates group. Just doing amazing work as well, yeah.
They're all the greats in many ways.
They're all the greats, that's right. And they do other things as well.
That's right.
A bunch of other things.
Thank you to The Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for all the musical themes. And that's the podcast. Next week, Scream 6 and 65.
Two things. Two great movies.
Watch either or both.
Tune in, so I'll tell you which one is better.
That's right. Tune in and we'll let you know if Adam Driver is responsible for the eradication of the dinosaurs on planet Earth, because maybe he is.
Maybe he lights the atmosphere on fire.
Maybe he does it. Maybe Oppenheimer's the whole world.
That's right.
As a prank.
I love it. All right, thanks everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.